folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. So today is Tuesday, April 7th, and this video will be the follow-up of the disaster that happened last night. So just to give you a quick recap, I went into hive number 25, and it was a double deep, had swarm cells. I had seen the swarm cells in there. I waited 10 days until it finished off, about 10, I don't know exactly how many. And I split the hive open in the middle, raised the top box up on its side, was checking out the swarm cells, come up with a plan on how I was going to split it. And I was going to use a double nuke box I made. And thing about a double nuke box that I didn't take into consideration is I built it with a solid bottom, so the entrance is on the sides of those. So there's no space in the bottom of that double nuke box for a frame to fit in there with swarm cells on the bottom. So when I put them in, the swarm cells were hitting the bottom of the bottom board, and that's no good. So I had to abandon that. I couldn't find the queen. It was getting dark. So I just did a 50-50 split, put the swarm cells on one side from the top and left the bottom where the bottom was. So we're going to get in there again. I'm going to look for that queen, and if I find her, I'll go ahead and move her out. I brought some of my new nukes that I built with the OSB, and I remember I purposefully made them a little bit taller, anticipating I would put them in frames in there that had swarm cells. Plus they'll have a bottom board that's spaced up 3/4 inch. So I put a frame in there and checked them out and measured it, and it looks like there's going to be plenty of room for the swarm cells. So I'm going to go ahead and redo this split and re-look for that queen, and hopefully we don't redo a disaster. So let's get going. Okay, let's give you a visual of the situation here. So this is the bottom of hive 25. You can see field bees coming and going. And the top box is moved over here, and I reduced it down. And what you notice is no bees coming and going. That's because any field bee that was in this box here, if it went out, it was oriented to that location and went back over there. So in my hurry to get things done while it was getting dark, I didn't shake any extra bees over here into this hive so they would have more bees. So that's one thing of concern. We need to see what our population looks like in here. And here's the nuke set up. I brought 2 nukes over here, and these have taller than normal boxes, 4 swarm cells, and I got the bottom boards there, and I brought some extra frames that have drawn out comb, and we're going to go from here. So first thing I'm going to do, since all the field bees are out foraging right now, I'm going to go into this hive that has the highest population, and I'm going to look for the queen in here. We'll see how far I can get without smoke. So I'm going to go through here looking for the queen. I'm looking for the queen because I want to get her separated. I want her off in her own new nucleus hive by herself so she won't swarm. This is a blank frame I put in there last night. So from my notes, this queen is marked red. I just don't remember how well she was marked. So I'm not looking for red, I'm looking for a queen. If I just look for red, I might miss her. Okay, I'm 90% certain that there's no queen in this box. So she's either in the other box or she's already swarmed. And I was just thinking, before I got started, I should have walked around here and looked in the trees. for swarms. I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Let's get over and let's look for the queen on the other side. Yeah, so that other hive over there, the bottom box, boy, they were getting kind of fired up there towards the end. So if we don't find the queen, I'm going to assume she swarmed. There's a queen cell right there that I didn't notice last night. So that last frame had 2 queen cells on it. This one has 2 as well. Actually, it's got 4 capped. There's 1 here on the side I'm looking at and 3 right here on the bottom. This one has 2. There's 1 right here. And this one's not capped yet, but I can see a queen larva in there. Okay, so that's a real thorough inspection last night, no queen. A real thorough inspection just now, no queen. I think she has swarmed. Off video, I'm going to go through that top box or that bottom box one more time and make double sure. I'm positive there's not one in here because I could see real well. And there's more bees over there, so I'm going to give that one more shot. And I think we got enough bees to do a 3-way split. Definitely have enough swarm cells there. So I've got 4 frames that have queen cells. So we'll figure out which ones we're going to do where, and we'll leave the original hive. I'll put a set of swarm cells back into it, and I'll make 2 nukes over here. So I'm going to look over there real quick for that queen one more time. And if not, I'll call it and we'll do the 3-way split. Okay, so second try in there, which is really the 3rd counting last night. No queen. So I'm pretty sure she swarmed, or she's not there anyway. So I got 4 frames in here that have swarm cells. I want to make sure I get at least 1 in each one of these boxes and the original box, and we're going to split these up 3 ways. So I'm going to start first with the swarm cells and get them separated out where I want them. Okay, if I remember right, it's these 4 frames right here. Slide these all over together. Take a look at this frame here real quick. So this is the one that had 1 up high and 1 right here. So because this has an uncapped one, this will be a good candidate to go back to the original hive, because it'll have a high population. They'll be able to take care of that and get that capped off and finished off. And if it doesn't work out, they've got this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and move it over there, just set it down. All right, I got that one over there in that box. So this one has 3 capped, 1, 2, 3. That one's empty. And then they've got 1 up here, somewhere right here. So they've got 4 in here. And this is the one I put in that box last night, and it pushed this down a little bit. I think it's still okay, but if I messed them up, they still have the one here. So I'm going to put this over here in one of these boxes. And I'm going to check the clearance of those swarm cells. Yeah, there's plenty of room. So there we got our frame. I'll show you what I'm talking about in here. Oh, so close. There we go. See, there's plenty of room. Looks like we got a little air gap back there too. So here's our next candidate. It has 2 capped and 1 uncapped with the larva in it. 2 uncapped with larva. There's the uncapped one. There's the capped ones, and then there's another uncapped one right there. So we'll put that one over here. And I believe this one had one on it as well. There's not enough bees to do a 4-way split. I think I'd be spreading them too thin. Yeah, this has had that one up here. I'll probably put this in the original box over there. Okay, so now we need to get the bees the resources they need. They've got the swarm cells to make a queen, and there's some brood and honey and pollen on those, but we need to get another frame of honey and pollen into each one, and some other comb, and enough bees. So this is a brood frame, and we need to get more brood in there, which equates to more bees that'll be opening up and emerging. I'm still looking for that queen. Watch her show up. All right. Okay, so we need another frame of brood here. Let's see what this one is. There's a little bit of brood on here. So we got a brood ring here. She's backfilled a little bit in here, and then they put some nectar in here. And this side's about the same. So I'm going to mark the frames that have the queen. Marked them with a blue pen. I normally carry a Sharpie with me, but it's not in my pocket. So here's some bees. I'm just going to shake them into one of these boxes. I'll do the same with what's on these. So here's a pollen frame. I'll put this in right here. And this is empty, so we really don't want to use it. So that takes care of this box, so we need to get the rest of our frames from the original hive. Okay, here's the bottom box. Here's the frame with my queen cells. So I need I need 5 more frames over here. Let's see what we got on this one. So this is a brood frame. Lots of capped brood on there, and a little bit on that side. These two are going to need more brood than that original box, because the original box is going to have way more bees. That's pollen, so I need to move it to I need to put another brood frame in between that pollen and that queen cell. And if I can, put honey on that outside. So we need one more good brood frame for over there. And there we have it. Lots of good brood on there that's not emerged yet. So these two are just about set. So here's a good pollen frame. I don't believe I put a nice heavy pollen frame in here. So now we just need like a honey frame. So there's some right there. So that one is complete. And there's a honey frame for the other one. Okay, now we need to make sure we didn't deplete this one too much. So that's empty. This is empty. I know that one's empty. So here's some honey and some pollen. And this is our queen frame, our queen cell. Right there. And there's one up here. So also on this frame, up here in the corners is honey, and it's got pollen all the way around. And a pretty good chunk of capped brood there. So this frame here is fairly self-sufficient. It's got everything it needs. So with the nectar flow going on, the bees can bring in enough to feed off of. They won't go hungry right now, April 7th. Red buds are almost finished blooming. And here's another brood frame. So they're good. In fact, I'm going to put one of those drawn out combs right here. So there's a nice piece right there. Nice frame. Here's some good drawn comb. Need one more. Before I do that, I'm going to take a frame of bees from each side of this queen cell and go shake them in each one of those hives over there. Because this hive here is the strongest. It's got all the bees in it. All the field bees are right here. So, trying to get some of these boosted up over here. Actually, let me get the one. I think this one had brood on it. Yeah. So this is a brood frame, so some of these will probably be nurse bees and they'll stay. Okay, we just did us a 3-way split on this hive right here. So I went ahead and left this a 10 frame. This one will be the strongest because that was the original location, and you got all the field bees coming back that are going in here. So these 2 nukes have everything they need. They have queen cells, they have pollen, they have brood, they have honey, and those queen cells just need to emerge, go out and mate successfully and make it back without getting ate by a predator. So we'll have to check all 3 of these continuously and make sure the queen gets mated. So we'll need to continuously check these 3 hives. We'll come back probably 10 days or so and see if these swarm cells have emerged and look for a virgin queen. Sometimes you find a virgin queen, she goes out and mates and she never makes it back and you never see her again. So we'll end the video here. Give me a thumbs up if you would, and subscribe before you leave. And hopefully this was better than the last one. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care.